Cool. So last we left off, you guys returned to your home, once called the Tragedy House, now known as Wild Rose Manor, thanks to Levy's management of household affairs in her absence. Um, from there, several exciting things happened. Firstly, um, Tobias was a bit upset with Valk for her roast at the roasting duck in Avatix. Um, Levy and Valk also had a nice heart-to-heart conversation. Um, then we started getting into the more exciting things. Demir started having another torture dream from Orel for calling her a bitch at the library. um, at the same time, one of Baba Yaga's knights showed up at the house in search of Tobias. The way it shook out, as opposed to my expectations, Tobias got a bunch of people awake, and that's when the party realized that Demir could not wake up from her nightmare. So a few people went to go deal with the night while Lish tried to stay behind and wake up Demir. The knight offered Tobias a deal, wherein he could give Baba Yaga a pint of his own blood in exchange for one of the tokens to try to open up Baba Yaga's house, should he be able to find the other two knights and the dancing hut itself. Or I suppose the other options would have been to fight the knight itself, or to just let it leave. Tobias opted to give the ancient, powerful witch lady a pint of his blood, which I'm sure won't go wrong. But hey, he now has one of the tokens for trying to get into Baba Yaga's house. Meanwhile, Demir was trying to figure out a way out of this nightmare that Arl put her in. Lish started trying to run around with the help of Levy to create a shrine of Arl in hopes of working something out between the goddess and the party. And it turned into a race between who would complete their action first, Demir or Lish. Demir ended up waking up before the shrine was complete. A couple people saw a crow land outside of the room where she had been resting, leaving the party to suspect that maybe the goddess Shar was involved somehow. And Demir ran out into the snow, dragging her partners along with her to go find Lish, and the two of them completed the shrine to Auril together. And that is where we are picking up, along with Hawk's return. So Hawk has just landed outside with a griffin. What are you all going to do?
Well, I already said that Tobias rapped fucking hell, I can't speak or read today.
It's
Don't
okay.
need to do either of those things.
I had Tobias go up and give Hawk a big hug and pick him up and say, "Welcome back, brother."
I remember that. I think he already walked in the house as well with his enormous freaking sun hat and confused Lish slightly.
I just felt it was important to say again.
It is. It is very important.
He is so excited to see Hawk. She's like vibrating. She's like, holy shit. Wait, no, she went to the library. Never mind. My bad.
Oh,
Falk would
Welcome.
also
Lish will just say, "Welcome back, Hawk."
it's good to be back.
Falk would be happy to see Hawk, but she's slightly indisposed.
Indisposed, Reed, pissed as hell.
Lish is, after greeting Hawk, going to, I think, turn towards where Volk disappeared off to and give a nod to Hawk, but he's gonna start making his way to where Valkyria left.
He actually takes off his hat and exposes his bald, not chrome, but brass dome. And he just turns to Tobias and goes, I've rejoined you all in the middle of something, haven't I? Toby? Toby?
Hey, hello? Did someone ask me of something?
Yeah, hi. Puck turned to you. I was like, I joined in the middle of something, didn't I?
Yeah, you kind of did. Tobias will take out the token that he got from the Black Knight and show it to Hawk and be like, "Look, I got this."
Oh. What is it?
It's a token for Baba Yaga's house.
He physically recoils a little bit. You seem awfully casual about this.
I mean, like I told everyone else, honestly, I got it way easier than I thought I would. So, but I believe now is probably the time to get you fully caught up on what's been going on. Out of character, Hawk does not know. Does he know about the indefinite?
He left before everyone went to the Turning Spire, so he has no idea what's going on.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure, because I couldn't remember if Valk or anyone else had sent him information.
He is completely in the dark.
Okay. Tobias will start giving him the rundown of the situation, of what they've figured out, or at least he'll start going into it, giving him a chunk of information, being like, process that first, then we can move on, but
all right,
there's a lot.
Yeah, I think very briefly after the long conversation begins, Hawk's gonna sort of just gently guide the conversation into the dining room so that they can actually sit down and discuss.
As a note, when you go into the dining room, you almost trip over a displacer beast that is sleeping on the floor in there.
He's like, where did that come from?
That was from the factory that we went to.
No, the displacer beast is little.
That's the kitty cat that Demir got.
Oh, I don't
The,
know
in,
why I
the
thought it
intellect
was
the
the
intellect
brain thing.
devourer is the brain, which Hawk was
Man,
actually around for.
why are these names so complicated and hard to remember?
Clearly, just need to enforce a pet policy so that you can't have more than one.
For
Then we can get rid of the brain.
Beast, Tobias will say that Demir and Aaron recently decided to pick up a couple pets.
I see.
Hawk can tell from his words that Tobias is uncertain about how to feel about it.
Hawk will not really comment further. This is something that Demir can talk about if she wants to. It's her pet after all. Alright. So like how up to speed does Toby get him? Like I'm like all the Spire stuff, I'm just sure. Like
I
what we
mean,
found out about the indefinite.
Tobias will tell him anything that, like, obviously he's going to go over the important stuff first. Any and all relevant information that Hawk needs to know, Tobias will share to him. He's not gonna like hide anything or avoid it, telling him stuff. He might obviously not go into in-depth detail of like every little thing, but that's just because of the amount of information that Hawk needs to know, and also wanting to give Hawk time to process stuff before just info dumping more. I guess like it's in terms of like relevant importance, like everything that has to do with the Spire, like all the information that the party learned, the portal that they found, what they've learned about the indefinite, all of that gets shared. Any major encounters or important events that occurred, he'll mention Valk's mother's wedding, but say if you want to know more about that, you can probably just ask Valk, or Valk would enjoy telling you about it.
He seems a little surprised when Toby mentions that. I think I will have to.
It was a lovely occurrence. We were
That's
all
good to...
surprised when, or Valk was surprised when she received the letter, but from looks of things, it's a very lovely family.
I'm glad. The last I learned about Hawk's mother? No.
You have a mother?
The last I learned about Valk's mother, she didn't exactly leave her on the best of terms. So I'm glad that they've figured things out.
I'm glad as well. Not everyone gets to be so lucky.
Hawk just sort of nods.
Tobias will not tell him about the roasting duck, because that's not really important in regards of like information Hawk should know. The party went to the old ruined Mithra temple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then Tobias will share what the party learned there. I'm trying to think of like what else.
Levy got a gun.
No, the party got a gun.
Party got 4 guns.
Well, I mean, yeah, there could be a discussion of finding weaponry that is of a era that the party doesn't really know of.
Can I see one?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where they are. I don't know who has them.
I think we gave them all to Levy, like straight up.
That would have been nice to know.
I don't remember. I think
I don't know if it was ever stated who has them.
I don't think it was
It
either.
wasn't specifically stated who has them. I will say that of the ones
Yeah.
that you did collect, you can have one if you want. Levy and Tobias and
I feel like
whoever
they
else.
should go in the bag of holding for safekeeping.
Yeah, we only noted down that Zoda looted them. We didn't actually note down who actually. Yeah.
Let's say they're in the bag of holding for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
So
have to
is
ask
that I'm out of character, I'm probably forgetting stuff, but Tobias will probably try to be as thorough as possible when updating Hawk and answering whatever questions he has. And if he doesn't have answers to the questions, he will let Hawk know, hey, ask this person and they will know.
Yeah. He does like sort of seem a little thoughtful about the temple thing, just like it's funny then. He, he said I'm not going to say that Tobias said this, but like if it's mentioned that Valk died in the encounter with Idarin, and that might be why she was so far flung, Hawk's gonna sort of muse like, interesting, because like if I was still around, maybe I died too, since I didn't wake up in that field either.
It's certainly something to consider.
Either way, I'd hope that I'm more prepared now.
I hope so too. We're going to need all the help we can get to take on the indefinite.
Mm-hmm. Thankfully, we've made a lot of friends while traveling across the continent.
And it seems like you've made some friends as well. After all, where on earth did you find a griffin?
Oh, that's the same friend you've always known. Just a moment. Hawk's going to get up from the table and head outside. Does Tobias follow?
Yeah.
Right. When he comes back outside, he's gonna greet the griffin with just like some head rubs, and then sort of mutter to it and talk to it in Sylvan. And then for Avery's sake, since I assume that she's going to still be taking control of the griffin for like creature DM purpose, Hawk's going to ask Biog to go back to her smaller form.
Biog coos and then just shrinks down into the little puff ball.
He sort of like gently, gingerly scoops her up and guides her onto his shoulder.
Tobias will
nuzzles you a little bit.
Gasp in surprise and say, "Well, I see you've learned some tricks as well." And he says that to Biog as he gives her some light scritches.
Biog seems to enjoy the scritches.
I think she was as surprised as I am, or as I was when I found out that that was even possible. But it's been very handy.
You've grown quite a bit since we've last seen you.
Yes, I've taken quite a bit of time to reflect and, I suppose, literally and metaphorically reinvent myself. Not much has physically changed, but the things that I can do are much greater than I ever thought they would be.
I'm glad.
Thank you, Lars, for being on point.
I'm glad. I'm glad that you've been doing well.
I know things are seemingly a little tense right now, but I hope that you've been doing well too. And everyone else, for that matter.
We've been managing, but it'll be good having you back.
Glad to hear it. Where's everyone else then? Because I don't know where everyone else is currently. All I've seen is you, Lish, and the small cat ever since I got back.
Demir should have been with Lish. I believe Levy went to the library.
Demir went to the kitchen.
Oh,
She's gone
Demir went
for
to the
some.
kitchen.
Lish went to go after Volk, and Levy's in the library.
Yeah, Levy's
Aaron's
in the
up in his
library.
room.
Aaron is up in his room, and Lish went after Volk.
Right. We'll have time to catch up with everybody, I'm sure, but...
Well, you could start making the rounds.
Mm-hmm. It's been a while since I've seen Levy. Even longer than it's been since you've all seen me, I think. I think I'll go talk to her first. I'll head back inside with Biag on shoulder.
Tobias will let him go.
All right. Are the library doors closed?
No, she leaves them open.
Say, he'll just walk in, but he will sort of like bonk, bonk, bonk on the door frame.
Hang on. I think she was expecting the next person to come, like, join her in the library to be Demir. So she goes, Demir, we both know that that's not long enough to make and eat breakfast.
I wouldn't be so sure. She's an excellent cook.
Fucking head whips her out. And she just lights up whatever books she has that she's been like scrounging the stacks for. She quickly like finds a spot to set them down and puts them down and probably nearly like knocks down just a bunch of her like her little study fort of stacked books. And then she goes and she runs at Hawk and she just fucking scoops him up into a big ol' hug.
As she's like not nearly knocking things over, he's like, "Well, careful!" And then he gets just tackled, and he very quickly hugs back.
Yeah. She's like, "Oh my goodness, you're back!" And oh my god, look at you! You're all shiny and new
And you're a lot happier.
Huh?
At least, and you're a lot happier, so it seems.
Yes, much calmer, really. Not that right now would reflect that. I'm just excited to see you. Oh my goodness.
It's really good to see you too. It's been so long. Tobias did say I joined in the middle of something.
There's a lot happening right now, yeah.
Clearly something even more disturbing, or at least shaking, than a deal with Baba Yaga, apparently.
Yeah. And uh there's so much going on right now.
No, it's fine. I've been gone for a while. Tobias already caught me up on most of what's happening
Oh,
with
good.
your visit to the Turning Spire. He mentioned Volk went to her mother's wedding.
Yeah, we went to Volk's mom's wedding. It was a good time. She's got a real sweet family.
Hmm. So he said. I'm glad that things worked out there.
Yeah, things worked out real well there. It was a very pleasant surprise. We were all I wouldn't say eager, but prepared to crash things if they hadn't gone as well
Hmm.
as they did.
Can't,
Uh,
I can't say I'm too surprised.
but uh yeah, no, there's just a bunch of stuff happening. You might want to like do your rounds and talk to everybody. Some of it really ain't my business to say, or and I some of it don't make sense to me yet, which is why I'm in here and all of that. Uh, but yeah, I don't want to keep you. But if you wanted to come help, it would be nice to have a study session with you again.
Of course, I'll probably come back after I've caught up with everybody. I think there's some things I need to tell you all about as well. So,
For sure.
maybe a breakfast group meeting or something would be prudent.
Yeah, well, I'll try and hurry it up and get my materials together in here so that I can sit and focus after.
Mhm.
But yeah, all right. I won't keep you any longer. Go ahead and go say hi to everybody. Maybe don't go see Demir alone. I don't
I
think
mean,
she'll do it. I don't think she'll like hurt you. I just
your concerns appreciated.
yeah. She's been a little touchy about your decisions to to go deal with your stuff. Uh, but that's her business.
That does explain a thing or two.
Mm. Just her eyebrows go up and then back down. Like,
Um, I was I hadn't heard from any of you until I was nearly home.
yeah, we've been,
Understandably very busy. Yes, that also explains a
yeah.
lot.
Uh, Toby told you about the
Uh,
ritual in the Temple of Mistra. We kind of time
vi-
stumbled our way into.
yeah, vaguely.
Okay,
He told me about the vision and the fact that it was there.
okay. I just wanted to make sure you knew about that.
Hmm.
All right. Well, welcome back. I'm very happy to see you.
Very happy to see all of you again as well. Right. He'll turn around. He thinks about going in the kitchen immediately, and so did I until he said, like, maybe don't go see her alone. Because she does have a point. Hawk will probably need verbal backup if the roasting begins. Uh, he's gonna go upstairs and knock on Aaron's study.
Um, Aaron, you hear a little just clatter on the side, and he says, "Oh God, who's it now?"
He's just gonna Hawk's just gonna fire back with like, "Oh, are things really that bad? Oh dear."
And then the door slams open. Um, and Aaron is just like streaked with paint everywhere. Um, and you notice that some of the paint splotches on him seem to be like moving and driving. And he says, Oh, Hawk! And then he's gonna reach forward and crush him into a hug and smear paint all over him.
He will like pause for a second from just like suddenness, but then also still hug.
Oh, buddy, we've been needing you back.
I feel hearing that's a little bittersweet, but I do appreciate it. It's nice. It's nice to be wanted, but needed. I know.
Oh,
I was told that things kind of went down, but
things have been a mess here. And I don't know that they would have been less of a mess without you necessarily, but well, would have been less of a mess with you rather. But no, it's nice to have more people to lean on.
Yes, it is good to be back. I do have some new things to bring to the table. Well, I'm eager to put them to use. Let's say lots of practice, lots of experimentation. Seems that you're doing some experimentation yourself.
I suppose you could say that. Oh wait, I have something new I need to bring in too. And then he's gonna whistle and say something.
He like tilts his head confusedly.
Something just poofs next to you, Erin. Let's say in a puddle of paint that's on the ground, just starts barking and running around the room and getting more paint all over the place.
Oh,
Hawk?
you've. He like cuts off. You can keep going.
Hawk, this is something.
It certainly is.
Something goes up to you and puts a couple of painted paws on you, getting some nice footprints on you, and barks and wags his tail.
He like crouches down a little, like pats its head.
The og flutters up lands on something higher up out of the way of the puppy. But something seems to enjoy the scritches.
I already nearly tripped over Demir's new pet earlier.
Layla?
Yeah, is that her name?
I believe so. I think she's a sweetie. Haven't gotten to know her terribly well. I've been having to spend a lot of time with this little ball of energy here, but yeah.
At this point, that something poofs away into the kitchen, still with painted paws.
Oh no. in like 2 in-game minutes, we're gonna hear cursing from the kitchen. I already tell.
They're gonna lean in and say, apparently you can't leave me and Demir alone together. We're bad influences on each other.
Noted. I just hope that both of you are prepared for the responsibility. I at least have I suppose, a saving grace that Biog isn't quite an owl herself, but I do still need to take care of her. I hope that you two are prepared for similar responsibility.
And Aaron will nod enthusiastically.
Have you thought about what you're going to do with them while we're out and about?
Yes, think we've discussed leaving them with the children. If that's out. We saw but we did see an adventurer going around who had a blink dog on her, and Aaron will fill in Hawk on that specific encounter. Mhm.
I forget. Does Aaron know who she was?
Aaron does not know who she was. He was way
Spicy.
too focused on Blue Jr.
So I imagine at least half of the details he recalls are about the dog.
Oh, yeah.
Love him. I'll just sort of nods along as the thing gets explained. And you've been keeping up on your art, I see.
Oh, trying to. I've got well, and he's gonna step back, and kind of appraise Hawk's, new appearance for a minute, and say, I've got a project I've been working on, and he's gonna squint at him.
He's gonna sort of look over himself, hand motions to be like, you don't intend to paint me more, do you?
Oh my goodness. Oh, sorry. Here, I have some eggs somewhere in here, and he'll.
Oh no,
go
it's fine.
something.
No, it's all right. I haven't forgotten a couple of tricks, and he'll just sort of cast prestidigitation in a cube, sort of centered on himself to clear out a clearly marked area of paint.
Aaron will emerge from his pile, rubbing a washcloth down his face, just actively smearing his own paint more, and say, "Yeah, I just never learned that particular trick."
Do you want me to
Goodness, please.
Right. He'll spend a couple of seconds sort of just bop, 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 bop. It doesn't get the paint on Aaron himself, but it will at least get his clothes.
Oh, refreshing. Have you said hello to everyone yet?
Not everyone. You're the third. Well, no, technically the fourth. Lish did see me on the way in.
Yeah, well, Lish.
I do know Lish. I have a feeling that me checking in is going to be maybe not interesting per se, but I do have a promise or two that I made to him a while ago that I'm sure he's eager to hold me accountable for, and I'm not dreading it.
That's good. So is something. Yeah, I don't know if Balk or Tamir or Lish, I guess, are gonna be up for much greeting. And Aaron stares off into space for a sec, and then gets back and says, "Oh, but no fault of yours, of course. Awkward times and all that. You have to understand."
I haven't exactly rejoined you all at the happiest of moments either, so
Yeah,
that's fine.
but
We'll push through it. We always do.
yeah, and Aaron will beam at him.
Have you been doing okay beside all this whatever's going on in here?
For the most part, I think it's been, one big hit after another, but still kicking. And he'll demonstratively kick one of the training dummies he has in his room over.
Well, as long as you find a way to unwind all that, I suppose. You're certainly not lacking for artistic inspiration, are you?
No, we actually and then he'll lean in again and actually no. He'll lean in and then you can see him have an idea and he leans back and then he taps his ear and messages Hawk. we actually saw Lish's original form. Mhm.
That's new. And that's also interesting. Kind of wish I was
Yeah.
around to see it.
Yeah, it not the most fun of circumstances.
Oh
Have
no, of
have you
course
heard
not.
of the dream we had?
Yeah, Tobias filled me in on much of what's gone on. That's the spire, the wedding, and the temple as well.
Good. Good. I'm glad you got someone else to explain to you. I was trapped in a labyrinth for most of that. Right, so I really don't know what happened in it.
He trapped you in a labyrinth.
He trapped me in a labyrinth.
Interesting.
Yep, I'm gonna need to figure out how to stop that from happening. Again.
Def- that's definitely worth looking into in case he tries it again, yes.
Or maybe I just need to get better at solving mazes.
Always stick to the left.
I'll keep that in mind.
Right, I should probably check in with the rest of the group. It was great seeing you again. Really.
Oh, God, you too, you too. Couldn't be more lovely.
See you at breakfast? I have a couple of things I need to tell you all about too.
Excited to hear them.
All right. Hawk will leave Aaron back to his artistic endeavors and head down the hall looking for Valkyria and Lish.
So, Valk and Lish, what have you two been talking about while these various conversations have been going on with Hawk?
Well, Valk is in her room with the door shut.
Punk.
There's no response, but you can hear Valk in the other room. Do you speak Celestial?
No, I don't think so. Let me double check. No, I do not.
Then you don't understand the language that's being spoken, but you probably recognize that it is Celestial from the fact that both Aaron and Valk has used it before.
What kind of celestial vibe?
Chanting, praying. It's kind of a low murmur, but you can get that it's rhythmic.
Tonk, tonk, tonk. Valkyria. Is if he moves the unlock the door, is the door locked?
Nope.
We'll open it a crack. Valkyria.
When you open the door, a couple feathers blow out of the doorway, but all you get is chanting still.
Can I see her from the door?
Well, it depends upon how far you open the door. Like if you stick your head in, you can kind of see a glow directionalized, so you get that she's kind of where her shrine is in her room, but you can't directly see her from just the crack of the door.
Am I interrupting something? He will say as he opens the door a little bit farther.
Valk is unresponsive. Kneeled at her altar, holy symbols in hand, and just chanting.
He'll open the door more fully, stand there in the threshold looking at her.
Okay, now that you have a proper look at her, the corners of the room have kind of darkened almost, but around her is a glowing, and then there's kind of air swirling about around her where feathers are caught, as you see feathers just kind of progressively dropping off of her head. Still unresponsive, but still praying, chanting.
He'll just stand there and watch if she's not answering him. It's very rude.
It's not because it's being rude.
I mean, it is. She just might not be able to hear him. Doesn't mean it's not still rude.
Well, I guess this
He
goes
knocked
on
and
until Hawk
everything.
gets here.
I mean, he'll maybe go and walk into the room a little bit and just see. Valkyria,
She is not home.
okay, well, then he'll stand there, I guess, and with his arms crossed and wait.
Okay, Hawk shows up then.
Oh boy. So Hawk probably just stumbles on this scene and just sees Lish waiting with his arms crossed. Now's not a good time, is it?
Lish will look over at Hawk and his glance seems cutting, but not angry at Hawk. He will go back to the doorway and kind of usher Hawk outside into the hallway and close the door behind him.
I think Hawk was already in the hallway, just sort of
Yeah.
like seeing this from like a good few yards away, just like I probably shouldn't butt in like immediately. So the door closes, I guess, and they're alone in the hall.
The feathers that scattered in the hall from Valk as you guys shut the door darken and crumble and then turn to dust and just blow away in a non-existent breeze.
Tobias filled me in on most of what happened, but no one else has said what exactly has been happening this morning. I know about Tobias's token, I guess, but not anything else.
What are you missing information wise? Tobias filled you in on pretty much everything. He
Yes,
told you how he decided to give a pint of his own blood to the Baba Yaga for a token, a key. He told you this?
he didn't tell me that. He didn't tell me about the blood, and
Yes.
I'm about as disappointed in him as I imagine you are, probably less. I can only imagine how you must feel about it.
Let's not try and put it into words.
Fair.
Everybody stood there and watched him do it too.
I wish I had been there.
As do I.
Also just like solemnly nods. Just related to what's happening in he sort of gestures to the closed door to Valkyria's room.
I do not know what is going on in there. Some kind of worship thing. Valkyria was very mad but a moment ago, and I do believe she misspoke on a certain number of things that I would very much like to have her correct. However, it seems she is indisposed at this moment. So that conversation will have to wait.
I see, and we both know that I've been there before.
These things happen.
Fair enough.
There was a bit of lashing out at Demir. And I don't believe that Demir deserves that.
So whatever else happened involves her, then. May I ask what?
Lish kind of glances towards Valkyria's door. I can give you the cliff notes. Perhaps we discuss this downstairs.
If Valkyria's a little busy, indisposed, what have you, then saying hello to her, I guess we'll have to wait.
I don't know. She is magically molting or something, and perhaps she will come out with a fresh new set of feathers or a bare chicken butt face. We don't know at this moment.
I guess we'll see if she turns into a butterfly or something later.
Butterfly.
Yes, metamorphosis, you know?
Lish just shakes his head slightly, like.
Yes, I know, she's a mammal. I'm not that clueless.
He'll start walking downstairs, and he's gonna head towards he's gonna lead Hawk towards the kitchen, towards where Demir went.
On the way, Hawk will sort of just add on, like, I'm sure you know this, but I am sorry for all the awkwardness I've imposed on you before. All the misspoken words and whatnot. I'm trying to be better about that. As you can imagine, living in a basement for 5 years and living in the forest for another 5 hasn't exactly worked wonders for my social skills, but you've all helped quite a bit.
I appreciate that, Hawk.
The others said that they saw you in their dreams, the old you, perhaps the most real you.
Ah.
I wish I could have seen it. Perhaps one day I will.
Lish kind of smiles and leans in once they kind of get down to the main floor again. And he kind of grins a little bit. Like, would you like to? Well, see something similar at least.
Really?
Lish kind of smiles a little bit wider, and you see all of a sudden his hair gets a little bit darker, his skin gets a little bit paler, this kind of icy sort of effect, sheen on his skin kind of appears, and he blinks and his eyes are just pitch black across, and he just looks like himself, but just that little bit more ethereal, just a little bit more unsettling, just a little bit more icy.
Hawk does sort of reflexively reel back, because it's not every day that you see one of your known friends sort of like pale and their eyes darken and sort of they just actually take on the aspect of the Fae and whatnot. So he's like, oh.
I don't
Is this
think
a
that altered self can give him like wings. I mean, I don't think so. So he doesn't have wings, but he does kind of like a little tilt to the side, kind of not quite a pose, but something similar to that vibe. And no, not that.
is this what it
Or
looked
how
like
about a
then?
JoJo's reference?
Yeah, so he'll just kind of gauge Hawk's reaction for a second.
Yeah.
And
The initial reaction you get is startle. And then he sort of settles down like, okay, well no, it's still Lish. This is how he looked. I should be polite. And this isn't as scary as it might seem at first. And then he verbally responds with, so is this what it looks like then? How you looked like?
it is not inaccurate, though not the same.
I'm not quite sure what I was expecting, honestly. All the different Fae we've run into have looked different, both from you and from each other.
Well, I mean, I certainly could go to the more extreme end of things. And you
Well, we're
see
not
kind
trying.
of like you see kind of like ice kind of starts to gather at like the edges of his hair, and like his features become like a little bit sharper, just like edging on like a little bit monstrous, and then it goes back to normal, and he just kind of laughs.
Careful now, you'll catch a cold. He isn't
Catch me.
serious when he says that. Sorry,
my
what'd you say?
my reflexes are too fast. But he will start to kind of continue to walk over to the kitchen.
Mm-hmm. Hawk will follow him. I did think about seeing Demir before I went upstairs, but Levy advised against it. Said that now wasn't the best time to go see her alone. So I mentioned
Well,
something about how she felt about me leaving.
Lish just kind of shrugs. It's like, well, you'll need to talk to her at some point, don't you think?
Oh no, I
Why
agree.
avoid the inevitable?
Exactly. I'll have to talk to her again eventually, won't I? And I did want to talk to her sooner rather than later anyway.
Well, you can talk to her if she will talk to you, until open up the kitchen door.
So Demir has been kind of making breakfast, I think. Just kind of keeping her hands busy, but she's reached a point where like there's really not a lot more to do. She's just kind of waiting for the food to finish cooking, the bread to finish baking, that type of thing.
At some point, a puppy with paint all over his paws appears next to you and sits down and very politely waits for a piece of food.
And actually she had been preparing some food for both something and Layla while she was working, just to keep her hands busy. So when the puppy arrives and sits down and waits, Demir just like coos a little at it, like, oh, what a good thing you are. And then she will give him a little bowl of some chopped up meat and some like, you know, whatchamacallit, like basically the dog food kitchen scrap equivalent. Um and she's going to set a bowl of meat and milk for Layla out. And she'll also set out 3 little, like, tiny teaspoons of milk for the pixies.
Something eats his own food and then starts trying to eat Layla's.
Nope. Samir put Layla's food up on the counter, so it's out of doggy reach.
Looks onto the counter and starts trying to eat
Nope.
it.
Demir is picking something up and just like, go back to your father.
He just poofs up to Aaron's room again.
And she's just kind of like a little exasperated, like, and like kind of stops for a minute in the, like, finally, like, realizing that she is out of tasks in the kitchen. And it's still, like, kind of dark, because it's like it's beginning, like, dawn is just broken, right, if I remember correctly, time wise. So, like, the kitchen isn't, like, super light, and she just ends up kind of staring at some of the darker shadows that are still, like, kind of clinging around, and just kind of getting a little lost in it until Lish enters the kitchen. Well, Lish and Hawk, I guess, enter the kitchen, and she kind of startles a little and turns around, and it's like the only thing she sees is Lish, and just, oh, there you are.
And he hasn't let his alter self drop either. So
Yeah,
he's looking.
that is what she that is exactly what she was saying. There he is. There you are.
Hawk won't speak immediately. He'll let them have their moment.
Yeah, I mean, she goes right up to him, and
He will gently back off. I don't want to listen. I don't want to just be the third wheel.
I mean,
I don't mean in the most accurate sense, but, like, you know, let him have some time. I think this is the first time Demir's seen him like this outside of the vision as well. So, out of character, another reason.
Yeah, Demir just kind of reaches up and touches the side of Lish's face. And when did this?
a new party trick. It's not permanent, but it's something similar.
I missed it. And she just kind of is looking at him for a long minute or two, to his eyes, gives him some kisses.
Some kisses and kiss her forehead, and just kind of put his hands on her shoulder and just kind of quietly ask her, "Are you all right?"
I think so. I'm remembering a bit more the dream. I think I think I just I think all I gave was my inclination to consider it.
Okay.
She asked me to fight for her, and I told her I could not. And she told me that I could just serve her, and I told her I would think about it if she gave me a sign that she could assist with the situation. And then I woke up. So I don't know. I don't think I sold anything but my consideration.
Kind of gives her a wry grin and is like, that's my girl.
So I didn't horribly ruin everything.
No, don't think you have. I never thought you had. I tried to talk to Valkyria upstairs, but it seems she's going through a process. There are feathers everywhere.
Process? Is she molting?
I don't know. And he kind of like quirks a smile at the corner of his mouth, and you can absolutely tell he's imagining a bald ass Valkyria 100%.
Just
So many
naked
eyes, so many
chicken
teeth.
wings everywhere on the head.
She's finally human.
Those disgusting little pin feathers sticking out of it. It's like, behold, a man sort of vibes.
Featherless biped.
Ow.
Are you
God.
meant to consider Char's offer then, or are there other terms?
Well, I gave her my word I would think about it. So I should keep my word and think about it. But you did say we need allies. I don't know anything about Char.
Well, Levy said she would do some research. I can't remember any details about her. There's too many things in the sky to keep track of. Don't take Valkyria too much to heart, my dear. She's got her own biases. Lars, you be quiet over there. But Lish kind of like remembers for a second, and he kind of steps to the side and like looks back into the threshold where Hawk is standing awkwardly.
He's not standing there.
No, where'd he go?
While Lish and Demir have been talking, Hawk has busied himself with looking at her masterworks. Just like looking at all the bread, and is probably thinking like, God, I wish I could eat some of this.
He'll kind of look between where Hawk is and Demir and just kind of raise a brow.
I mean, well, for one, he doesn't have eyes that we can see where he's looking at anymore.
Well, about that, he does still have like lenses where a person's eyes would normally be. You can sort of, they don't like move like eyeballs, but you can at least follow their gaze.
Oh my god, he's got glasses. He's
Yeah,
even
he's literally
bigger
had glasses since the
nerd.
day he was introduced. But you can't call him Four
I
Eyes
remember
because his
him
glasses
having-
are his eyes.
Oh, I guess it's because he always wore his mask that I always just kind of imagined them as light
Yeah,
slits.
exactly. The few times that he has had the mask off, I can actually just like link the Hero Forge miniature that I like cobbled together as a reference.
I mean, I was more referring to Lish's eyes currently because they are entirely black.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That makes more sense.
That's true. You see his like face kind of going like that back and forth more than his eyes.
Yeah, Samir like definitely like is mostly looking at Lish, and like it takes her a minute to like realize that he is gesturing somewhere. And just like slowly heel turn around to where Hawk is standing there and just like
There we go. I was just responding to the thing real quick. There we go. Yeah, Hawk doesn't immediately notice that attention is turned to him until like he briefly looks up from like inspecting all of these beautiful Mojave stamps and like going like glancing up, glancing back down, then doing a double take when he realizes that the cold married couple is looking at him. He's like, "Oh, hi, hello, I'm back. I see the oven hasn't broken while I was away."
When did you get back?
A couple minutes ago. My timing doesn't seem to have been good.
No, but it does seem as if you are back.
Yes.
You left your father behind, then?
There wasn't any reason to stay. I thought you were concerned about me creating a paradox, no? If I'd stayed, that definitely would have happened, and well, I already know how
Were
things
you
end.
not already spending time with Jamie before he had even created you?
As far as I'm
Giving
aware,
him the schematics to your construction.
such a thing didn't happen.
No.
There's a little poking
Where
around,
have you
but
been then?
with him, more importantly, I've been reinventing, metaphorically, mind you, and on the road.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I'm glad you could leave your father to his fate, I suppose.
It's not a fate that I can prevent.
And weren't you the one who felt so guilty that you couldn't serve him for as long as he intended?
Not necessarily how I felt about it.
No. Then how do you feel about it, Hawk? Abandoning him a second time. This time not even cold in the ground.
Well, first off, I never did abandon him. He left this world, and at that point, I was not keen on following. So I didn't know what to do, and so I decided that the best thing to do would be to leave. And I did leave again, but this time with a proper farewell. And it was made easier by the fact that while I was there, I realized that I don't think my place was ever really with him to begin with.
So where is your place then?
He sort of just gestures like at an angle at the floor, at just sort of everything. Right here. With the rest of you. I was unhappy with what I was able to do. And so I took a break to fix that.
Well, I can't say that I'm glad to have you back.
Honestly, I wasn't expecting you to be.
But I can say I will have you back.
I will be back whether you will have me or not. And whether you will it or not, I will be looking out for you. Not to the extent he can, of course, but I will be doing my best. Because regardless of how you feel about it, I don't want to lose you either. I don't want to lose anyone here.
That's a big promise, Hawk.
And one I intend to keep. I've made larger promises to your husband, haven't I? I'd say that overthrowing a false queen is going to be a lot harder than sticking with the rest of you.
Don't be so certain.
I'll be as certain as I wish.
Well, welcome back, I suppose.
Thank you. I've missed being able to occasionally taste your bread. And everything else you make, of course.
Do you want some?
Perhaps later. I'd rather that the others get their fill first. And I've got a couple things to go over while we sit down for breakfast as well. Assuming we can drag Valkyria out of her supposedly catatonic state.
Catatonic?
Well, Lish did explain it a little bit. I don't know as many details as he does, and I don't think he knows many more than I. But she doesn't seem very responsive right now.
She was praying and would not respond.
Making assumptions, I suppose.
I do not know.
How could we? I guess the best we can really do is explain as best we can when she wakes up.
Exactly.
Well, wakes up.
Well, Hawk, I do anticipate hearing more about your adventures.
Yes, there's been some interesting goings on.
I hope you've had closure with your decisions.
If I have.
I believe Levy is in the library. Has Hawk already gone to talk to Levy? I forget.
Okay, he will say, like, I've already checked in with her. She was one of the first that I went to see, because I haven't seen her for even longer than I suppose you guys have.
I am not sure where the children are, if you wanted to talk to them.
Oh, good point. So excited to get back, I nearly forgot. I'd make a terrible uncle. That's a good point. I wonder where they are.
Perhaps upstairs in their rooms. It is early.
At the bottom of the well in the basement.
That's a good point, actually. If it's so early, I probably shouldn't wake them if they're still asleep. It wouldn't hurt to check.
Yeah, it's still like 7.
It's like
right?
fuck early in the morning.
I will say that Echo is getting ready to leave for the tutor bard tutor that Levy had signed her up for. Egress is out cold because he's 12 or 13-year-old boy, and that's how they do.
Once Levy starts getting any kind of whiff of food from where she is in the library, she's gonna assume that breakfast is almost ready if anything's like actually wafted that far.
Oh yeah, and it's smelling good. Demir finally
good.
has access to a full kitchen and has just gone ham.
Fuck yes.
I will say at this point that Sniv has wandered into Valk's room and is starting to go through her bookshelf of smut and taking the books that he wants. And he puts them in his bag and then walks up to Valk, pokes her, and then tries to get run before she notices.
Uh-oh.
Stolen from.
I'm gonna wait to do this to a party member, so the quick poke doesn't work.
Cool.
Oh boy.
I figured. But he's like, Mom's distracted, time to steal all her porn.
While that stuff is going on, Tobias has been standing out on the porch. Would it be alright if I opened the gift that Aaron gave him? Because I completely forgot about it until Dove politely reminded me that he has a gift to open. And since he's alone right now,
go for it.
Cool. After Hawk goes back inside, Tobias will like be hanging out on the porch for a little bit, getting fresh air, and then remember the gift and pull it out and open it up.
All right. So it's a little fold up. All around the outside. There's a very hastily written note that says, "Don't show others. Not done with theirs yet." And you unwrapping it and roll it out. And it is a portrait of Tobias. So it's got an arrow shooting up right through the top with a trailing black spell effect going on it that melds into Tobias's hair. And the top of the arrow is styled to look like a star. And it's twinkling like one as well. And above where Tobias stands, there is a whole night sky, also full of said twinkling stars. And Tobias's eyes themselves have been painted with the same kind of gold and sparkling paint.
Tobias is going to tear up a little at it, kind of just from sheer awe at the depiction of, I guess, like how Aaron views him. He will immediately get up and go find Aaron in his room, and I imagine when he knocks on the door, Aaron's probably like, "Oh my god, who is it again?" He opens it, and Tobias just immediately wraps him in a hug, and he whispers in his ear, "Thank you."
Aaron's just squeezing back. Hear a lot about you, bud. I'm always here.
I'm here for you too, Aaron. I'm grateful.
And he'll say,
You're like
I'll
a
say
brother
for
I've
the
ever had.
okay, I think Aaron's crying now. Oh!
Tobias
Oh my
pointing to Aaron and
goodness.
Hawk. These two are my brothers.
Yes. Oh.
You know,
Yeah, I
that,
can't say how happy I would have
Go
been
ahead.
to have had you growing up. And he'll chuck him on the shoulder.
If I had you with me while I was growing up, I think I would have been able to endure it for a lot longer. My time would have been a lot less lonely.
I'm really glad you're here now. Instead of that.
Honestly, I'm glad I lived long enough to.
My God.
Tobias will ask if he can see what Aaron has been working on or what other portraits he's been in progress making. He's like, I won't tell a soul. It is completely, I will keep it lock and key.
He's wiping up tears, smearing paint back on his face, and say, oh yeah, of course, here, and he's gonna take you over, and he's got right now just a handful of sheets out, and he'll say, I'm not 100% sure what I want Lish to look like under here, but I think I've worked out the effect I want to have on him. And you can see on all the papers they have been drawn on with also his marvelous pigment, to have big, wings that look like, Lish's wings, just gently flapping over the canvas and just covering the entire thing.
I think whatever you choose to do, it's going to look fantastic.
It's Toby. And then he's gonna like pull himself up a little, and stand a little straighter, and say, I was thinking when I was done we could, put them in the family portrait gallery downstairs.
That would be a great idea.
Make the place a bit more home.
I wouldn't think of any other place, honestly.
Oh, me neither.
I'll keep this safe, and I won't speak a word of it to
anyone. All right.
Tobias will let him get back to work undisturbed. And then he'll probably go to his own room, I believe, until breakfast is ready or something.
I mean, lucky for Toby, breakfast is mostly ready. Probably by the time he's done talking to Aaron.
Oh, then he'll head down to the kitchen or yeah.
Demir is going to like send messages to the party members in the house like breakfast, 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 breakfast.
Okay. Valkyria, do you come down for breakfast? You do receive the message, I assume.
She doesn't message Volk, actually.
Okay. Never mind then.
I should probably go wake our resident celestial, the second one. I'll be back. If I don't,
She's not busy molting.
I'll be back down, hopefully with her. If I don't come back down in a couple minutes, assume that she's pecked me to death.
Good luck.
Hopefully I won't need it. We'll see. Hawk will make the journey up the stairs. He will try knocking on Valkyria's door before he just walks in.
She's still just sitting there praying.
He will open the door, first to peek his head in.
The amount of feathers has increased, but otherwise completely unchanged.
He will now tentatively walk the rest of the way inside. He'll keep the door open just in case. And very slowly approach and sort of just like look.
You're peering around her feathers and looking at her face?
He's trying to get close and then, like, if possible, trying to like see what exactly is going on.
Her wings, which are now maybe like half covered in feathers, are still blocking her face, but you see dripping off of her face streaks of golden tears, and there's a little puddle on the floor building.
He just sort of like recoils a little bit. So just like muttering to himself like, disturbing. And he will place a hand on Valk's shoulder.
When you do, who's seen the GIF from Astartes of the Psyker getting punched out?
I have no clue. That's a good question.
Where's one that starts early enough? Come on. But yeah, so basically you touch her shoulder, and when you do, she whips around at you, and you get her wings open up and you look directly into her eyes, but instead of being the usual like beady red pupils, each and every eye is a void looking into what you can only assume is like the heavens or space or something. It's kind of indescribable. And I need a saving throw.
All right. Let's see.
Aura of Protection doesn't stack, right?
That's a good question, actually. I don't know if it does.
You can't have the same effect from the same.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, so you just get your +3.
Mine's a +2, so I'll take your +3.
No, Aura Protection gives you an additional +3 on your saves. You're a paladin now, right?
It's based on your charisma modifier.
Yes, but you also get +3 from being a paladin. Aura of Protection.
Hang on, my door's being knocked on. Just
Ill timing. Happens to the best of us.
I've been excited about doing this scene.
I'm excited for you to realize that your son took all of your porn.
That's a problem for later.
Sorry about that. I was getting an in-person notification, let's say, and was also gifted a pair of pants. Anyway. So
Saving throw.
Yeah, saving throw. Or protection. Yeah, it's equal to your charisma modifier.
No, you also get +3 from Aura of Perfect.
Aura of Protection adds your charisma bonus to your saving throws.
Oh, it's
so
charisma
if your
bonus?
charisma
Yeah, it's your
bonus
charisma bonus.
Oh, so you get +3 from me.
Exactly.
Because you're within 10 feet and technically friendly.
Okay. I didn't know she was that high level paladin. Cool.
This morning.
That makes sense. Alrighty. So I was just double checking too, because like I also play Paladin Pathfinder, so I keep getting it mixed up. I don't believe 5e has immunity to fear.
No, unless if you're at high level or a specific subclass.
Gotcha. Okay. So that is a what save? Wisdom?
Charisma? Wisdom?
It's your aura. It's like your Asimar fear aura thing, right?
Exactly.
Charisma, I believe.
It is charisma. Okay. Thankfully, he's actually good at that now.
Yep, charisma saving throw.
All right, that is math. 24.
Okay, so you save, but you are weirded out by what's going on with her face. But as she looks at you, her eyes, the black kind of fades away and becomes her usual eyes, and the wings kind of fold down and goes, and she kind of is tipping back and forth and goes, Hawk, welcome. Like she's trying to get out welcome back, and then she's just kind of like, air, and she kind of reaches her hand up to Hawk.
He'll take it and sort of like use it to pull her up if that's what she is extending it for.
At which point, Falk leans in on your shoulder and just goes, air.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend taking after my eyelessness, Valkyria. Are you okay? What was that?
I need fresh air.
All right, he's gonna. I forget which level Valk's room is on.
It's the
second or
it's
the
the
third?
one with the balcony, so she can escape easy.
Okay, he will take her up to the balcony then, because that's the closest source of fresh air.
At which point, Valk kind of hangs over the railing and actually vomits over the railing.
Not okay. Got it. After she sort of like stopped heaving, he'll approach.
It's at this moment that she kind of notices how patchy her wings are, and it's just like, in my trunk, there's a habit. Could you please grab it for me?
What?
A habit, nun hat.
Oh, did she bring one up with her? Is it on the balcony?
Oh, no, in the trunk.
Oh, in the trunk. Right, sure. So he'll like hurry back. I assume the trunk's unlocked so he can actually access it. And then he grabs the habit and goes back up and gives it to her.
At which point she kind of puts it on, and you can see there's also a veil on it as well. And she, at which point she's like, I guess I started my molt early.
Oh, that was serious. Lish was joking about that, and so was I, but I didn't think.
What?
Lish came up to check on you and found you in that state. Breakfast is ready, so I decided to try and wake you up.
Yeah. I was in a trance, praying
Don't say.
praying to Torm, praying to my dad, praying to Mistra, anyone who would listen about what to do about Demir.
Right.
And I looked a little too deep.
I see.
It's at this time you notice that the tear streaks on her face are just staying there in golden.
Well, the others briefed me in on most of what's been happening, what has happened, and it seems as though Demir didn't actually strike a proper deal with this
That
Shar, I think it was called.
Shar, goddess of loss and emptiness.
Hmm.
And
In her words to Lish, and I would hope that they were truthful, she said that she promised she would consider the deal, not to take one. And for all I know, she could decide to say no.
well, let's go confirm that that's the truth. Ugh.
Yes, let's. Hawk will stay next to Valkyria on the way down. The others mentioned that you went to your mother's wedding.
Yeah, Valk is actively using Hawk as a leaning on him.
Yeah.
And you can tell by the way she's really needing to use you.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. How did that go? Because before I left, I understood that you and her weren't on the best terms to begin with.
You should also know that I have no memories of her after
I do
talking
remember
with the
that,
hag.
yes. I was there. I do remember that very well. But they say it all turned out well. I'm happy for you.
Yeah. She has married an honorable man who has a son, Nim.
What's it like being part of a family again?
A bit like being with the Roses.
That makes sense to me.
Anyway, let's go track down Demir.
That won't be very hard. You're the last person to the table, I think.
And so right before entering the dining room, Valk kind of steps away from Hawk and kind of, cracks back and pulls herself up to her full height and steps through.
Before she steps all the way through, Hawk will place a hand on her shoulder, just like halt her for a moment, and say, "Don't be too hard on her, okay? She might somewhat deserve it, but she's
We
as
will
scared
see.
as we are. I'm sure of it."
Mm-hmm. At which point, Valk walks into the room, and you'll see that she's, been trailing feathers as she's been walking around, and has a habit with a veil on, and you can see poking out of the bottom of the veil 2 golden trails down her face.
Well, I woke her up.
Now, what have you done to yourself?
Look to the gods for answers. However, the answers I need are here. At which point, zone of truth.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Is Zone of Truth a charm?
I do not know. Give me a moment.
I don't think it's a charm.
No, it's not a charm. It is a
Enchantment.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a charisma saving throw?
Yeah, and no, you don't get my +3.
That's fine. That's a 21.
Okay.
Are we really going to do this?
For
Everybody needs to make a charisma save too that's in the area, right?
technically, but
And what-
the mirror is the only one that matters. This is. I need the truth before we proceed, and unfortunately, yes. Zone of truth
Proceed.
again.
Actually, Valkyria, 21 again. Why don't you tell me what you think I did, since you seem so certain? Why don't you tell me what happened?
It. You were freed from the mechanisms of Orel by the machinations of Shar, be it because you made a deal or she has interest of you, will make a difference, but either is a threat to all of us here and yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry, Valkyria. When exactly do you think I invited Shar's favor?
I didn't say you invited it. I said she has taken an interest in you.
So how is that my fault? How do you hold me responsible for that?
You're only responsible if you accepted a bargain.
And when was it exactly that we were in the mountains and I alerted everyone that there was a creature reaching out to me that has been hounding me for since then? And no one said anything. No one even investigated. And now I'm being held responsible that it is Shar that reached out? As if I did not tell you all when we were at Shar's shrine.
Wasn't that a shrine to Oral? Oh, that was a
It was
shrine to...
it was a ring of bones that looked like a burial ground.
You first pulled out that little zone of truth trick. You all.
I don't know if
We
I don't
didn't
know if
know it was
any of us
Shar
could
then.
identify what the shrine was at the time. I don't think any of us could
I don't
figure it
think
out.
anyone did, no.
Yeah.
Nobody tried.
It was always a shrine to Shar, but no one could identify that it actually was a shrine to Shar. And no one thought
Not
to
been ignoring.
really about it since then.
And have I not been ignoring her calls and her attempts to reach out since? Or have I been inviting her along this whole time?
I never implied you invited her interest, but her interest, nevertheless, is the most gravest problem.
I told you all in the beginning. It hurt what Ara was doing. You would think that the cold would numb the pain, but it doesn't. All I could do was wait to die, and she wouldn't let me die.
Better than the favor of Shar.
That's a bold claim to make when you are not the one in the position.
Do you know who Shar is?
None of us do, so why don't you inform us? Since you are so certain.
Make a religion check.
Since
Make the religion check.
I have a very quick question. Since Levy, what I said in the chat, but nobody like responded or anything, I wanted Levy to go upstairs to wake the kiddo up for breakfast. That's why I was remarking on breakfast smells earlier, but that got derailed. Which is chilling. I just wanted to circle back. And then because she's waking up the kiddo, is she out of range of the zone of truth?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'll say while this check is going on to see if anyone knows what the deal is with Shar, how about you come back in with Egress? Because as I said, Echo is on her way to Bard tutoring that you signed her up for.
Well,
Right. Okay.
11:20.
Levy,
Yeah, I think so.
Dub,
No,
you're unmuted.
Unmuted.
Oh shit, sorry.
You're good. But does she just walk into the fucking zone of truth with the kid?
Yeah, but
Oh,
like
boy.
since the spell is already cast, neither of you have to make a save.
Oh, baller. Does she like feel some magic bullshit
Enters the
happening?
spells area for the first time or starts its turn there.
Ah,
Okay.
So
that's
yes.
fine.
See.
Fuck. All right, it's a wisdom save, right? What?
It's
Charisma?
I think it's
charisma.
charisma.
Okay. Thank God. 19?
Yeah, you save.
Okay, sick.
Alright, I'm just pulling up Egress's stats. I need to level these kids up. Where's that?
Levy's stopping at the door, and she has a hand on Egress's shoulder to kind of keep him there, with just at her side, and she's kind of standing there waiting to see what in the fuck this is.
Okay.
And if she should usher the child away because the adults are arguing.
The moment. Oh,
got
sorry, go ahead.
a 14, by the way. Those of you that made religion check.
21.
21? Okay. Anyone else?
God, I thought, yeah, I'll give it a try. And I got a fucking 9.
Alright.
I mean, I roll. Should I roll again? I mean, I rolled last night, so I assume that
Well,
I'm not
you're
gonna
rolling
gain it.
again now. May as well.
Oh. Okay,
I got a
I guess
13.
magic
What did
some
you get,
facts
Damien?
into
13.
13? Okay. Lish?
I got another. I think I got the same thing I rolled last time, like a 12.
Okay. Yeah, most of you don't know much about her. Lish, you would know that she is the twin sister of Saloon. Valkyria, you know that her portfolios, more or less, are darkness, forgetfulness, loss, and night. And she is considered an evil goddess, technically, but not because she's like necessarily scheming or prone to cruelty, like, for example, Asmodeus. She is considered evil due to the selfishness of her domains, more or less. And typically, her worshippers are people who are stuck in the bargaining stage of grief. Like they are grieving for something or someone and want to forget. So she's not terrible. You don't necessarily think that she's trying to fuck any of you guys over specifically.
But her actions are known to fuck over people who she helps.
Not necessarily.
Anyway. Rant. Shar is the goddess of darkness, and not just the night, but the darkness in people's souls, the darkness brought by loss and grieving. And she wants nothing more than numbness of everything, and is enemies to the good gods for a reason. She is not an ally.
So says you.
I was muted. She has a common enemy with us.
Are you sure
Even an
about
evil
that?
god does not want a god killer wandering around.
DM, does Valk know the bit about Shar's lore where that's actually untrue?
No, because the lore is different. I'm not using the Forgotten Realms lore, I'm just using their names.
Okay, fair enough.
Tobias is going to gesture to Levy to take Egress out of the room. And he'll say, he should not be here for this.
Just because something is evil, according to certain people, does not mean that they do not act in their own best self-interest. I know many evil creatures that can be convinced to do the right thing if it serves their purposes.
Plenty of them in your own court. Interest, self-interest, is the main motivation for many, including the gods.
We have been trying to reach out to many different gods over the past weeks, and now we have a god practically on our doorstep asking how she can help. And we do not want to take advantage of that. We are looking for allies against something that can capture gods, has captured Mystra.
She offered her aid. I said I would consider it. And she granted me freedom from Aro. So, we consider it does not mean acceptance.
Fine. My oath still holds. I will protect you and yours, and I will champion your other causes. But if you go to bed with Shar, I will not be aiding in her causes.
I have no interest in aiding in Shar's cause. I have no interest in being in service to a god, any god. So I do not pledge myself to one.
Good.
Levy, when Demir starts raising her voice, starts to kind of nudge Egress out of the room, and she's like, come on, let's just go make sure breakfast didn't burn or nothing.
Griff is like, you can tell that he's interested in what's going on, but also kind of worried.
And this will sort itself out, dear. Let's just go. Let them deal with all of that. It ain't our business. It ain't our trouble.
Roll a persuasion check.
Nosy teenager. Let's see. You said persuasion.
Mhm.
Excellent. 18?
He looks reluctant, but he nods and comes with you. Does not try to stay behind and eavesdrop.
Sick. Levy's gonna go see you to breakfast. Breakfast sounds helpful.
Well, Valkyria, are you going to sit and join us then? Or
At which point, Val you can see her kind of wilt.
Valkyria Lightbringer, although you have already mentioned it, I do not release you from your word or your bond with me. Regardless of the decision I make with Shar, I am holding you to the promise you made. I do not break my word. As much of a liar as you believe me to be, I have not.
As long as you remain not an instrument of Shar, I will keep my word.
An
And
instrument
furthermore,
of Shar? What does that mean?
what the fuck do you think it means, woman?
I already told you I have no intent to pledge myself to her.
And as long as that remains so, we will not have an issue. And
But you seem to believe that parlaying with her is the equivalent.
parlaying with her leaves the risk of doing so.
We
And
need
furthermore,
allies, Valkyria. Do we not?
sorry,
And
what
would
did
it
you say?
not be, we need allies, do we not, Valkyria? And do we not want more gods than one on our side? Than a dying one on our side?
Can the goddess of loss truly be trusted to save a goddess that is being lost?
I think we can trust her not to want the same fate. And with Idurin running around, all of them are at risk. He's done it once, he can do it again. And again. And as many times as it takes to get through the Pantheon. Until he gets what he wants.
It would appear we've reached an impasse.
And for that reason, I am going to ask both of you to stop. I've had enough of this. I did not travel half the fucking continent to listen to you tear each other apart. Not even half. The entire continent.
That is true. Hawk is back. We have one more ally on our side. And that should be enough. Demir is going to sit down.
Valk steps forwards, kind of putting her fist down on the table. Well, since we're talking about oaths, here's another one. I will fucking get better so I can slay the indefinite by my own hand.
Shut your fucking mouth about your damn oaths and sit down already. You're not doing this alone. Not like we'd ever let you.
At this point, Valk just wilts the rest of the way into a chair and kind of grabs a piece of bread and starts picking at it.
Hawk also starts sitting down, and as he does, goes, "So one more ally, is that me or someone else?" And then almost as if on cue, Demir gets the queen of bad timing sending a message in her head going, "Knock, knock. Could someone let me in, please? I think the door's locked."
Oh, okay. Demir is going to just stand up and go over to the door and let Zoda in.
She is carrying a half-eaten pastry in one hand and a stack of papers in the other. "Hi, hopefully I'm not stepping in on anything. I wrote down those copies."
Oh, you. That's excellent. I would invite you in for breakfast, but this is a little tense in there.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Leaving come out of the kitchen now
do
with
you
breakfast.
just want the papers? You can pass them out.
Sure, I'll take them.
Okay, cool. She just sort of hands over like this stack of parchment. They're all sort of like secure. They're all sort of secured in leaflets by like small loops of twine. But there are multiple of these little books.
Oh, thank you so much, Zoda.
Yeah, of course. I just thought it'd be helpful to have like reference.
No, honestly, I needed the interruption.
Glad to provide it, I guess. I am also thankful for the interruption, but I need to get back to my thesis. So I will talk to you later.
Yes.
I'm just a mental ring away.
Yes.
You sure you don't want to go in and meet Hawk?
Honestly, it's tempting to have a brief conversation between myself, but also it's really funny if I put off Zoda meeting Hawk for as long as possible.
So true.
So I am torn.
You're welcome to do whatever you want. I'm just being an asshole.
No, it's warranted, and I agree.
Can Levy come out of the? Could Levy come out of the kitchen now?
I mean, she probably hear that the fighting was mostly died down. The air of tension could be cut with a steak knife, but
I mean, yeah. Just she was bringing food, so I'm just wondering about the timing.
Honestly, in the service of comedy, we can have it line up.
Oh,
Hey, I
perfect.
mean, you're probably good to go.
Yeah. Levy comes out with the food, and she's just like, she's still kind of like, oh Lord, just like looking pretty pensive about like the whole morning so far. But she comes out and she sees Demir and Zoda like in the doorway, and she's just like, oh, hi Zoda.
Oh, hi, Levy. Is Egris with her? Hi, Egris. How's your knife training?
I mean, it's going okay. I'm getting pretty good at throwing them. I am also getting really good at pickpocketing people.
Cool. Don't do that.
Why not?
Well, people don't like it when their money's stolen, and the consequences are not worth it.
I didn't say I was taking their money.
Levy does
I mean,
burst out
with
laughing
that, he
just a
kind of
little
shoves
bit.
like a piece of bread in his mouth and walks into the dining room.
I'll talk with him about that at some point, I guess. I've been in his shoes. It's not a good place to be.
Here, Demir is going to give Zoda a piece of bread and a little like a little shoulder squeeze, and give you a point of bardic inspiration for your studying.
Hell yeah.
Aw.
I'm gonna study. Thanks, I'm gonna study twice as hard now.
Levy balances the stuff on one arm in order to give Zoda a wave and tells her to take care of herself.
Will do. With the
You are
papers handed
welcome
off.
to come by anytime you need I was going to say a quiet place to study, but a place to study.
It'll be a lot quieter when you guys are gone, I'm sure. Like,
Oh,
I don't
probably.
mean listen, I don't mean that in a bad way, but you guys will be out of the house.
I
It'll be
mean,
very
yeah.
quiet.
2 children, a blink dog puppy, a displaced beast cub, a brain, and a
And a
ghost.
ghost.
All of them
Sure.
all of them more manageable than any 2 of these people combined.
No, this is
Live.
So fucking fair.
fucking Levy kind of nudges Demir along towards the dining room when Zoda leaves and the door is shut, and she does ask in a low tone, I do want to know who instigated this spat.
Valkyria.
Okay, I had a feeling. Should I have words with her, or did you two figure it out?
I don't know.
Okay,
Frankly, I don't care.
okay.
Whatever she has decided, she has decided. I
Yeah,
don't think any casting of Zone of Truth would convince her otherwise.
fair
And I
enough.
don't need to be patronized too.
Right, that's fair. Levy will kind of make a little kissy face and a kissy sound like offer.
Demir will
When you make the kissy sound, Layla comes up to you.
Oh,
Real quick, Zoda has also left. She does need to get back to that paper.
yeah.
Godspeed, soldier.
Demir just kind of like when Levy makes the kissy noise, she just kind of like it stops her for a minute, and then when Layla comes up, she just kind of starts laughing a little to lean in and give Levy a kiss.
Levy is very pleased. She perks right up and then follows Egris back to the dining room with the food.
Demir is going to take a minute, just in the hall, like to compose herself a little. And she's going to pick up Layla and bring her in and set her in front of the bowl of meat and milk that she set up for her. On a high counter so the dog won't eat it.
when Levy walks into the dining room, she will make a little bit of it's an offhanded comment, but it's also a little bit of a joke, and she's just like, now, if we're all done picking fights with each other this morning, let's have breakfast because I'm sure being this hungry after a long morning isn't helping anybody's mood. Let's just have breakfast and settle down for a minute. Yeah?
Please.
And Demir did make like a huge old breakfast spread. Like she got the fried cheese, she's got some like good dips to do with that. She's got the like stewed eggs with tomatoes and like she has done the whole big breakfast spread because she's just needed something to do with her hands. So she just made.
Thank you for making such a lovely breakfast, Demir. Like, Levy will say that when she comes back in, and she'll start divvying things out to people and ask Hawk, actually about his
Rich
travels.
kind of mumbles a repeat of "Thank you for breakfast down here" in the way that kids do when their parents are prompting them to say thank you.
You're welcome, Echo. Or was it Egress?
It's Egress.
Egress. Thank you, Egress.
But yeah, Levy's kind of prompting Hawk since he doesn't eat. It's just like, tell us, how was your trek across the whole continent? Really?
Thankfully, it was
how did
mostly
that go?
uneventful. I didn't get halted by any sky pirates or anything when I was taking Biog for our first Griffin back flight. A couple interesting things did happen. Tobias said you guys found some strange weapons. Do you know where they're stored? I need to see one.
I'm sorry, I missed like the very last bit of that.
It's okay. Hawk was like, Tobias said you guys found something called a gun. I need to see this.
Oh yeah, more time
Looks
things.
interesting. I think we decided they were in Lish's bag of holding.
Should I pull them out?
Please. Baby cameo, let's go.
Maybe not at the breakfast table.
I just need to see
You don't
it.
want to get gunpowder all over the breakfast food?
I don't want it going off.
I don't need.
I don't know. Do we have bullets for them?
We do, but you do. But as someone who is actually trained in firearm safety, they should not be loaded.
I mean, I'm fucking trained in firearm safety too, but I don't remember anyone mentioning that they unloaded them. So
that's fair.
I don't think that the bandits would have unloaded them before dying. So
I think Zoda might have, just because like I don't want a rock hitting a trigger and then suddenly your bag explodes from the inside.
I don't know how Zoda would have made sure for
she took notes on how the guns work while the one bandit described it, and then test fired one. So she's aware of how they function at basic level. Yeah.
Lish will say that he left his bag of holding upstairs, and he doesn't have it with him.
Okay, in that case, is it like a tube of metal?
Yes.
God damn it. Okay. Or God damn it. I should be lore accurate. Right. So there was one interesting thing that I ran into on the way over. You all remember the site of Max and Price's factory, correct? I passed by it on the way over, and it is not as I remember. Kenzie, you have no idea how long I have been waiting to reveal this. For every time you've said, I wonder if something happened at the factory in chat. Continue with Hawk's wolfing. Surprisingly, and I don't know if this is related to time things, I was so utterly flabbergasted that I didn't even think to ask. There's a city there now, on top of the site of the factory, and it's more advanced than anything I've ever seen. There's clockwork and machinery everywhere. These guns were just on sale like any sword or bow, and there were more constructs, and he actually places a hand on his chest. More advanced than I was. And they weren't mindless either. They were all autonomous. They could speak, they could think. They were all doing things that I would have done had JB lived longer, had I stayed with him. All the things we did all those 5 years, that was the sort of things they were doing, sort of carriage positions and fetchers, mail carriers, and so on. It was as scary as it was a relief. Scary because now, almost as I feared, the fate of what I am is no longer in my hands, but at the same time, a relief that at least they seem to be doing normal things, helpful things, and that I'm no longer alone is scary and comforting in itself.
These aren't Jamie's creations. These are different.
They're more advanced than me.
Are they the same model?
Not by far. And they don't seem similar to Price's constructs either.
Huh.
Something completely new, but very much like me. If not in physicality and concept.
Well, congratulations, Hawk. Perhaps you are a father in the future and give birth to an entire new civilization.
I would hope not literally.
More true men of metal.
Let us hope that they are as considerate and other things, I guess, as I am, and that they don't make my fears come real. Only one way to ensure that, I suppose, and that's for me to stick around. Not the city, but just around the world in general. They don't seem to have the same freedom, I suppose, as I do. They're all doing things that I used to, as I said. But should that day come, I would hope that I am still around to help them learn what it means.
Maybe they need that guidance. If
Maybe
not
they
the
do.
literal father of a nation, perhaps the guider of a race.
Who knows? Certainly a lot of responsibility, but we'll see if I'm prepared if that actually comes to pass. What's much more concerning is the existence of these guns.
They seem to be effective at damaging people.
And easy to use, besides. It's something we'll have to keep an eye out for, especially since they're being sold in a city that basically anyone can just walk into. Where did you find these?
Highwaymen.
The things are already a bit more dangerous then.
They were from the future, though. They didn't stumble upon the guns in the here and now.
It's only a matter of time until people learn how to use them in our time. And surely after this is all said and done, if time doesn't rewrite itself after we, I don't know, I suppose save Mistra or kill Idarin or convince him to stop this foolish pursuit of his. maybe it's not out of the question that some people would remember what they are and have sort of a technological boost, let's say, a little inspiration. Who's that coming from? Oh, no. That was unmuted again.
Gosh dang it. How does this keep happening?
I don't know. I'm so sorry. But it's okay. I was just confused.
Perhaps the next time we come across bandits, we should initially start off the argument with, what year is it? That might be helpful.
At this point in time, it might not be completely unwarranted. If we do go back to that city, I could guide the way, but I don't think I would need to. Surely you'll remember where that was. Should we go back, we can then ask what time it is there, since I stupidly forgot.
That's what happens when you roll a natural 1 for investigation.
He did! She was like, roll d20 3 times, and I got like 1 or 2 good rolls, and the other was a nat. Whoops. Anyhow, we can fix that when we go back, if we go back. We'll probably go back. We need to get Levy here, Guaca.
Well, that is certainly something to investigate. There is one thing that I don't think you know of yet, Hawk, which is that we have tickets to a masquerade ball coming up soon.
Really? No one mentioned that at all, no.
Upper crust of this continent. They are hosting a party, and it is often the aristocracy that have resources if we need them.
Just the thought of that brings back some memories. What kind of party? Just a dance, or?
Masquerade ball.
Interesting. Well, I don't think I need to tell you that I'm quite accustomed to wearing a mask.
Do you want yours back?
I have a new one. You can keep that one. I don't intend to use it very often now. I'm sure my appearance will be unsettling for some, that's why I must keep one around. But I would hope that through our adventuring across the continent and our demon slaying, our Gorgon killing, our beholder popping, people might come to fear me less, come to get more accustomed to what I am. Then maybe I might not need to be afraid of people seeing me and seeing another monster.
There are an entire city of you now. I think people will become accustomed.
Gods know if it'll stick around, but that will certainly help, yes. Just another reason for me to not wear my face, let's say. But it will at least come in handy for the masquerade. Maybe I'll do a bird theme, live up to my namesake.
Yes, we should figure out costumes.
You know my fashion sense. I welcome your help. And Lish's too, and any of the rest of you.
Seems like Valkyria is already sorted.
Sorry, what? I missed that over my munch crunch.
I said, it seems as if Valkyria is already sorted on the costume. So we will leave her to her own.
For the masquerade.
You never know. Maybe she'll want to dress up as a dinosaur.
Now that attention is turned back to her, she just kind of is scrunching down in her chair.
I'm sure we'll figure something out.
veil.
Have you hurt yourself?
Yes, I'm a little concerned. I'm a little concerned as well. You still have some. And he sort of like waves fingers over his cheeks where Valk's eye teardrops would be.
He pokes and wipes at it, but it's now just a feature of her face.
Oh, it's permanent.
But she doesn't know yet because she hasn't looked in a mirror, and she's like, I think all the stress from the last couple days, my molt started early and with a vengeance. So that'll be fun for the masquerade ball.
Well, at least it doesn't seem as if you have to do a lot of cleanup. I think I saw a couple of those feathers disintegrate just by themselves.
That's new.
Hopefully not too concerning. But just as you have sworn to protect one person, I have sworn to myself to protect the rest of you. And that includes you. And he does point at Valkyria.
Elk does a little like seeing equals thank you type of thing.
He just nods affirmatively, understandingly. Do we have any other potential leads or forays other than this new city? I did get a name, by the way. It's called, checking notes, Bronzestone to most people. There's Bronzestone, there's of course the Masquerade, which I imagine takes priority, because that must have a date. Then of course there's no small amount of research we could probably do on the side, especially concerning potential allies or enemies. We should know as much as we can before we decide on that.
Also, we should pick up my sword.
Did you lose it?
How many days away is the masquerade?
Technically, it's in like a week or so.
We have about a week, although with all of that is going on, who knows how long that week will actually be. Could be a day, could be much longer.
I will also note that the city that Hawk mentioned, its official name is Beltharm, Bheltharm, but the common translation is Bronzestone.
I'll just snip that part at least from my notes and post it real quick so you don't have to. There we go. Tamir, you do have a bunch of packets of paper over there.
Oh, yes. Zoda stopped by. That was what I left for earlier. She was a companion that joined us after you departed, Hawk. And quite useful with magic. So we have some scrolls that she had prepared for us. And Demir is going to flip through the pile and take out the ones that are for her and put the others on the table.
I will say, because of how scrolls are prepared, these aren't scrolls. She can't prepare a bunch of scrolls overnight because each scroll individually takes like not hours, but like I think days or even weeks, depending on the spell level.
Yeah, it's exponentially long.
Yeah, what this is a bunch of small little packets of her copying down onto parchment with just normal ink all of the notes that she took from the entrance of the Turning Spire to the moment that she left.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood.
Yeah, it's fine. I wasn't very clear about that.
Yeah, no, Demir will put them all on. Actually, she's going to hand them to Levy, because Levy is the scholar. Zoda dropped by all of the notes that she has been studiously taking for our adventure. So I suppose if you need to reference anything, it would be in here.
Yes, absolutely. This will be very helpful.
I'm going to plot this in campaign info.
I'll have to thank her the next time she comes by. We see her otherwise. For sure. This is wonderful. We need access. You did not make it.
Oh shit. Oh, I think this is the wrong document actually.
Oh, rip. Hello.
There we go. No wonder it was a preview.
Okay, excellent.
I just nearly leaked you guys my personal notes. Oops.
Awesome. Thank you.
There you go. That is free access for everybody who looks at one of these pamphlets.
Excellent. Levy will pour over that, of course.
I had a lot of fun writing these in character.
Yes, it looks like it. But yeah, Levy is very pleased, and she kind of puts it off to the side because she's like controlling herself. She's like, I'm not gonna get into this now. I need to wait to nerd out. I need food first.
I'll probably have to read over that later. Did she treat you guys well?
Very well. She is a student at the college, and her companion Stick is as well.
Oh, you guys finally befriended a second wizard.
Well, it is handy that she specializes in time magic.
You could specialize in that?
Yeah.
Apparently.
Second wizard. Are you guys forgetting about Varhasa?
Yeah, we got
I think Varhasa was the first wizard being referred to.
Okay, fair enough. I forgot.
I was unsure if you were meaning Varhasa or Aldrich.
I for some reason in my mind, Varhasa is just a librarian, and I don't know why. She has a floating wheelchair and a familiar.
A flying wheelchair and a giant lunar mop.
Exactly. I don't know why I'm this dumb. Anyway,
He's got
retroactive correction. Third wizard friend.
Job versus class.
You got the two. You got a librarian. You got a professor. Now you got a student.
Look at us
collecting
working
them all.
out our
wizard
prejudices
version
against
of Maiden
wizards.
Mother
Hope she didn't make any hubris holes like Idrin did.
No, she's surprisingly lacking hubris, which is hilarious considering she gets along so well with us.
Must be very strange coming in to the middle of this group with an outside perspective. Can only imagine how much strange it would have been if I was there. How long I'd have to tiptoe around how long I'd have to sort of cautiously tiptoe around being made of brass.
Oh no, she's a dear. She's darling. She probably wouldn't have batted a lash, other than probably being scholarly interested.
Kind of like Mama. It'd be interesting to meet her.
Interesting, sure.
Well, we should probably check in with Aldrich and Varhasa as well. So perhaps you can meet her at the university, Hawk.
Who knows? Right. I've kept everyone's mouths full of words and not full of bread for long enough. So you should eat.
Oh,
I
Valk's
asked.
been busy eating bread.
Thank you for sharing, Hawk. It's really good to have you back.
It's really good to be back.
And that, I think, seems as good a place as any to call session for the day.
I think this is the most character voice I've done for Hawk since I actually joined this group. And it feels great.
Yippee!
Thanks for
Hawk has
playing,
the
guys.
shiny new spine. I'm
To
so
you.
proud of him.
He's done he has legitimately done a lot of growth while he was away. I've done a lot of thinking about the conclusions he's come to while he was with Jamie, training his magic and sort of training in a new martial style too, with his bodyguards. And sort of like
Yay.
the thoughts he had and the things he's discovered on the journey back.
So exciting.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to get into it.
Character growth is fun.
It's very fun. I'm so proud of my son.
Valk's had some. She's due for a fair bit more.
Hey, now she's got a therapist. A therapist that isn't made of water. The bathtub.
You killed Felix.
Listen, it's not a real D&D session until I do.
Okay, I see how it is. I see how it is.
Listen. If I don't make you laugh like at least once every other session you're here, I have failed.
Fair enough.
Yeah, if you don't completely derail the session from everyone laughing, have you truly done a good session?
Maybe not to that extent, but I like to sneak in humor. It's fun.
All right.
Well, thanks for playing, you guys.
And thank
As
you for
always,
DMing.
Facilitating the
For fun.
nonsense as usual.
Thank you for
Yeah,
putting up with my
thank
character
you.
shit.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Comes with the territory.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.
Happy
Holidays.
holidays.
Happy holidays.
Ho, ho,
Bye,
ho.
guys.